I'm Jane from Calm Therapy, and welcome to Conversations with Calm Therapy. I'm wishing you all good health during the pandemic. We're slowly coming out of lockdown and we are in week 12 now. Can you believe it? I think it's bringing mixed emotions for many people. Some are very keen to get out, and for others there's a lot of anxiety, maybe a similar anxiety to as we felt when we were going into lockdown. It's a strange time for us to readjust and process. So, Conversations with Calm Therapy. It's a project where I interview a series of complementary therapists and business owners during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is to create connection amongst business owners, and it also offers you, the viewer, tips on how to cope with these sudden changes, how to manage your fear that arises with uncertainty, and how to move forward through that fear. I'll also be asking each guest about any useful rituals or activities that we can add to our daily routines during our time at home. So my guest today is Susan Kennard. Susan is the spiritual scientist, and Susan guides you to release unwanted emotions, physical symptoms and limiting beliefs to help you on your path to your mission. So hello Susan, and
hi
welcome.
Jane. Hi, thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So can you just give us a bit of background about yourself and what you're doing now?
Yeah, sure. So my background, the science background, is psychology, psychotherapy, and I worked in child protection for about 10, 12 years. And so I worked on the trauma end of child protection, which led me to create a way of working that is science-based but also spiritual. So, you know, we haven't got time to go into the full story here, but essentially if you go to my podcast, The Spiritual Awakener, you can, episode 1, you can hear it all there. But essentially about 25, 30 years ago, I realized I had a connection to spirit, to source as a medium, but also as a channel. So I incorporate my ability to see into the body, to hear, and the science aspects of trauma to work with my clients. So essentially now at this time, with the shutdown of everybody and the fear that people are holding, it's a time really for us to go within and look at all of those parts of us that are coming up to be healed. And so I'm finding many people are saying to me, oh my goodness, you know, I'm feeling all this anxiety, and this is perfect, this talk with you, because this is what you really wanted to get across, didn't you? Is that so many people are feeling this, but they haven't got anywhere to go, or they feel they're on their own with it. So essentially, yeah, 25 years, nearly 30 years as a therapist, and I work internationally like this online. I have done that for sort of nearly 2 years now, and I've been a therapist for goodness knows how long. So having my practices in London and the South Coast, and now I don't have them. I work online, so I can reach more people. Yeah, and I run all sorts of groups, and a lot of my groups are donation based. And what am I doing now? Well, literally, I worked with children for many, many, many years. And it's interesting how the universe has aligned with part of my mission again to work with children. And so tonight I'm actually holding a free talk for parents, teachers, carers, grandparents at 8 p.m. UK. Just go on to my website and they can sign up to the newsletter, which then they get a link, which is the free Zoom link for tonight. But contact me anyway, susan@susankennard.co.uk if you want that link, because I can send it to you directly. And essentially it's a question answer talk about the possibility of running some meditation, some calming, some fear release for children. I'm a mindfulness teacher as well. So I'll be bringing in many different ways of helping children release that fear, because I think the key now is our children are our next generation. They're our thought leaders, they're our teachers, and they're in fear and they're like robots, you know. And being a parent myself, we have a very conscious parenting style. So, you know, my children are very aware that there's nothing to be afraid of and they can create and manifest and so on. But not every child has remembered who they are. Okay. And not every child has remembered that they don't have to feel fear about living in this world. So I really want to bring that in. That's kind of what I want to bring in. So I got this light bulb moment, and that's what I'm going to do. And it's donation basis.
Yeah, I mean, it's such important information, and that you can help parents help the children. You know, as you say, they are the future, and you know, this experience is going to impact that generation, and for us to help them through it in a supportive way, and you know, grow from it basically, instead of being stuck in fear.
Exactly.
For their future, you know, it's a very important work. So thank you very much, Susan. I'm going to go on to my first question for you now.
Great.
So we are going through unprecedented times of sudden change. How might we maintain a positive outlook and a feeling of connection whilst in this period of isolation?
Sure. Well, we are a being of light having a human experience. You and I both know that. And so we are always connected. And it's only those parts of us that felt the fear of survival as a child, perhaps. And if we believe in other lifetimes, we brought that in with us. But as a child, there will have been many times that we felt that. So it's really being kind to that child. And one of the things that I do when I work with people is get people to really acknowledge that part of them that felt that they were not safe and they were not protected. And one of the ways I do that is by saying, I'm so sorry that you felt the world was so unsafe. That's just one thing that someone might be able to say to themselves. So to connect with their heart, I know you're going to talk about processes later, but to connect with their heart and just feel, we don't need to know too much about the children that were within, you know, feeling this fear, but just to acknowledge that part of you. And I'm so sorry that you felt scared at that time or whatever. And, you know, obviously we can work more deeply in a session, but for yourself, for everybody, just to feel that they can connect with that part of them and acknowledge it, and not to shut it down, because the reason why it's coming up is because it was shut down, and it was kind of put into a box, or it was closed away. Yeah. So we're all connected. And so to remember that, you know, you are me, I am you, we are all part of this unified field of light of consciousness, and there is no separation. But the key is to knowing that and remembering that, to not just consciously knowing it, but really on a heart level knowing it, and that everything outside of you is a reflection of how you feel about the world.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Susan. So my next question. It's known that fear can have a negative impact on the body. How might people release themselves from this fear to reduce mental and physical health issues?
Yeah. So as you know, I work with essentially the metaphysical causes of dis-ease, and that's the emotional causal reasons. So essentially, when we're looking at a message in our body, then we're looking at something that we didn't hear before. And so it might be that people are feeling at the moment aches and, you know, pains and headaches and a feeling of lethargy, because their body is showing them how they've actually felt over many, 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 many years, and it's coming up to be healed. So definitely emotionally, it's really important to look at your emotions and perhaps what your body is showing you, but also to get out in the fresh air. We're blessed, you know, we live in Bexhill, we live by the sea, we're blessed. Sunshine, fresh air, vitamin D. I'm a naturopath as well, so I can say that. You know, I'm not a doctor, but I can talk about nutrition. And so vitamin D key, and vitamin C not so much, but vitamin D is really important, and we get that from the sun. And so really just to nurture yourself. Definitely emotions are key. Release those emotions. And the key ones are fear. You know, the opposite end of the spectrum is love. So if we can release the fear, anger, resentment, we can reach towards acceptance and love. So that would be the key, to really acknowledge those emotions, but get out in the fresh air. And I'm just going to say, breathe it in, right? Come into that parasympathetic, so that we're not in the fight and flight, which is when we're not breathing in. And that's what I'll say about that. So if we stop ourselves from breathing,
hours spent on that, can they?
Yeah, we could spend hours on it, but you know, if we're not breathing in the breath of life, then we're in our sympathetic nervous system, which is fight and flight.
And that's when the immune system just goes big.
And that's the key.
Yeah.
So we will talk about this another time in a longer discussion. But yeah, that's if anyone wants to talk to me about that, I'm really happy to get on my soapbox about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're saying it so well. So thank you very much.
That's all right.
We're going to go into the third question now, and it's based on your experiences. Can you suggest any useful rituals or activities that we can add to our routines during our new way of life?
Yeah, I mean, I have routines myself. One is I'm clearing my energy field every night. And I say a particular thing, which is creator all that is. It's commanded that you clear my energy while I sleep. There are other things we can say, but that's really helpful. And then you feel this sense of peace and calm. And in the morning, I always imagine beautiful light in my heart, send it up to the universe, out to the world, and then back to myself, so that there's that kind of symbiotic figure of 8 going on, where we're receiving and giving at the same time. The other thing that's really helpful is to imagine a star underneath your feet, which is your earth star. I know you know my earth star, soul star process. Yeah. And a soul star above your head, and imagine a beam of light coming down, connect with your heart. This takes a minute and a half, and literally you're connected and grounded. You're supported by earth, you're connected to your intuition, let's say, your guidance. And if people want that meditation, they just have to go onto my website, Susan Kennard, and there's a free meditation they get for signing up to the newsletter. So that is the meditation they get, which they can do every day.
Yes, fantastic. And I've used that before, and I've been on a couple of your workshops before, which are really fantastic. Yeah. And I'd just like to say as well, when we do use like the Earth Star and everything, people who are new to it might just think, oh, nothing's happening, but it's a practice, isn't it?
Yes.
If you do things regularly, it doesn't have to be every day. If you do it 3 or 4 times a week when you're feeling like you
just when you feel, yeah,
you start to reap the benefits of these small mindful practices, and that's the key thing.
And breath, breath is really important, to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. So if you're feeling anxious at this time, feeling worried, or you've heard something on the news, or someone said something to you about a mask or about a vaccination or whatever it might be, you just breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and you're starting to calm the nervous system down as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long for it doesn't take much practice for actually it to have a positive benefit. It will help you. Brilliant. Okay, thank you so much, Susan, for answering my question. How can we get in touch with you? Do you have a website? Do you have any promotion that are you working on anything at the moment that you'd like to share with us?
Sure. So my website is susankennard.co.uk. And that's the same across all my social media. So LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere. So you just put my name in and you can find it. I've got an offer on at the moment, which is 3 sessions for a discount price. And you can find that on my website. So it was for May and June, and we're just into June now. So people can take me up on that if they want private sessions. I run, as you know, twice a month moon astrology meditations and activations, which I love, which are on donation basis, and I run twice a month healing retreats. And this month is all about sex. So it's all the lifetimes that you have experienced experiences where sex has been a taboo subject, or shame or guilt or whatever, and then really coming into our power with that and releasing perhaps this lifetime and other lifetimes. So that's really exciting. But last month was all about inner child, so it depends on what I get guided from my guides to do. So that's this month. So this month it's that, and that's £33. So it's really affordable, and it's a 2-hour healing retreat. What else is going on? I run all sorts of programs, so they just really need to contact me. But I suppose my podcast, which you've been on, which is the Spiritual Awakener, you can find that across all platforms on my YouTube channel. You can see Jane on my YouTube channel, just my name. So subscribe to that and have a look at her and listen to hers.
Fantastic, brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Susan. I'm so pleased you could be
having me
on my channel as well. So I am going to be posting this video onto my YouTube channel.
Hey, brilliant.
Therapy. So please subscribe and share on your social media if you want to keep up to date with future videos that are coming up. So brilliant. Thank you again, Susan.
Thanks, my darling. Okay, see you
Bye-bye.
soon.